So I'm going to start recording. And all right, Max, let's tell them what
right,
what are we? Who are we?
Welcome back to episode 2 of Level with Me.
That's exactly right.
We're
We
happy
have
that you're tuning in again. We
Always
appreciate
excited.
the support. Yes.
Always. So, Max, how's your week been?
I was really excited for this. So the whole week went by really fast.
Love to hear it. Well,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful day in LA as usual.
Mhm.
So,
and Santa Barbara too.
Of course. I can't say it's been a terrible week myself. Just, get a little golfing in, watch some sports. And to start on that note, I had the pleasure of watching the dismantled Nets Lakers game today with no Kevin Durant, Dennis Schroeder, or Anthony Davis. It was a all around great performance from Brooklyn. They showed off their defense. Their 3-point shooting was impeccable. Joe Harris could not miss. It was a fun game to watch, even as a Laker fan, and it kind of shows how things will be in the future. I think having your star players out on both sides shows the depth of your team, and the Nets tonight showed that they have the depth to take it all. What do you think? Did you watch the game?
I didn't, but I looked over the stats. I think Harden had a chip on his shoulder for not being a starter in the All-Star game.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Okay, so we can move on quickly from that. Something that really stood out to me this week was saw some slander on social media about Gary Sanchez, Yankees catcher. And I thought to myself as I watched, the 60-game season that was played last year, I sit down on the couch and I walk quick pitch or highlights of any game. I always seemed like Gary Sanchez was hitting the ball hard. Now, I dove into some advanced statistics, and I saw that he ranked in the top 2% of these three statistics. Sorry. He has a 92% hard hit ball rate, an average exit velocity of just about 90%, and a 97% rate of barrel. So the guy is almost squaring up the ball every time he puts it in play. But he had a 171 batting average last year. His defense is looked upon as not so great. And the Yankees are a team with a very critical fan base, and they move very quickly. So if you're not performing to how you should be, they're quick to move on. What do you think about that?
How's his strikeout percentage? Did you look at that?
Great question.
What about his defense? How's that?
Not great.
He's been declining for the past few seasons.
He has been. I actually did come across his strikeout percentage is 20%, which ranks very high as well.
Yes.
I mean, you're going to the plate, you're striking out once every 5 times. It's tough because if you
especially when you're hitting 171.
Exactly. No, I totally agree. And even with batting average or how hard you're putting the ball in play, if you have that guy coming up with a runner in scoring position in less than 2 outs, your number one objective would be to put the ball in play, especially with a runner on third. So that would make sense. But what I also looked into is that the Yankees don't really have an immediate option for a catcher. So what do you think about that?
Well, they got enough prospects they can deal for one if they wanted to. They certainly have the money to sign one.
Yeah. And speaking of money, luxury tax has been a very, very big topic of discussion in baseball as well. It's hard to have an opinion on this that doesn't come off very biased because I'm a Dodger fan. We have the highest payroll in baseball. We just padded it twice in a week, signing Trevor Bauer to a mega deal. And during this week, extending Justin Turner, which to me was very near and dear to the heart as I love the guy. He's brought so much spark to LA. The guy is a 302 hitter as a Dodger over 7 years with an 886 OPS and plus defense, a great clubhouse leadership, just the type of guy that to me seems intangible to a team. He wanted a 4-year deal. We got him for a 2-year deal with a 3rd-year team option. I think it's great for everybody. But you're a Mets fan, a team that has a lot of money but hasn't really spent it yet, being that Steve Cohen hasn't had the opportunity to express himself in the way he wants as he proclaims to be a mega Mets fan. So what's your take on the luxury tax in baseball and how that could possibly be contained in the future?
I like that the Dodgers brought Turner back. He definitely helps them. I saw this thing that the Dodgers have, like, the amount of money that they're spending is more than like 6 teams combined. I believe it's like Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh. Like, you should be able to pay however much you want to pay. That's
true.
I support it. You know,
So
I don't
you
think there
like
should
the
be a
luxury.
salary cap.
So you like the luxury tax where if you go over, you pay the lower market teams, than having a salary cap, which limits everybody from doing something they want necessarily.
Yeah, like look at all those crappy teams at the bottom that aren't spending money and they're still being. I
Right.
mean, the Rays weren't an exception. Like last year, they made it to the World Series, but like the Pittsburgh Pirates, they don't spend the money and they suck. Like no one wants to
Totally.
see that.
Totally. And to me, what's crazy is I was reading into this today. The Padres are going to have a top 5 after signing Fernando Tatis, of course, to a 14-year, $340 million deal. It's crazy
For
for
a guy who
who's
hasn't
played.
even played a whole season yet.
It's amazing. I do think he's the future, but my first and only thought is, where is this money coming from? So they're going to be top 5 in payroll. They're 23rd out of 30 in total revenue in MLB baseball. That's total. That's everything. How do they expect to have the money to pay Manny Machado, who's on a 13-year, $330 million deal, Eric Hosmer, who's on a 6-year, $144 million deal, and Fernando Tatis, who's on a 14-year, $340 million deal, if they don't have any money coming in? I just feel like if things don't go too well, they'll file for bankruptcy and, head down south. I don't know what to think about it. It's crazy.
I don't know.
It's interesting.
It
It
really
just leaves
is.
everybody with an open head. It's so odd. I saw something earlier last week that we didn't talk about, something that makes my heart so full, and that is EA Sports coming out with a new college football video game. I'm so excited.
Grew up
Tell me
playing
about
that
it.
game. So nice to have it back.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I know you're a big Miami fan, getting all
Yes.
those touchdowns with the Hurricanes,
Yes. Brings
eating
joy.
those snacks. It's awesome, man. It's really cool. They have features that Madden can't offer, and I mean, I'm just another kid who loves college football. So why would I
Madden's
not
also
want to play?
trash.
Yeah, Madden's definitely trash. Perfect word. Seriously, just awful. Even though I know as soon as we're done recording this, we're going to go play a game, as we talked about before.
Yes.
It still sucks. If we had the opportunity to play college football, count me
You
in.
would?
Of course, play
Mhm.
mascot matchup.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. So I was really excited to see that. They haven't talked much about how they're going to develop the game or really when the plan is for 2022, but I'm happy just to know that after years and years of disappointment following the last game being in 2014, that they listened to what the people wanted and are supplying the demand. I really enjoy that. I have a lot of respect for that from EA. See what else we got here. So if we want to stay on the topic of student athletes, why not dive right into it? Something that's the first controversial, maybe a little political discussion on our show here. College athletes getting paid and making revenue from themselves, branding themselves, signing with agents, doing things that most athletes are given the opportunity to while being student athletes, supposedly. What are your thoughts on that before I share mine?
These guys put so much time into their craft, always in the weight room, and even the best ones are an injury away from their draft stock falling. They need some type of protection. Like for those guys who didn't put academics ahead of their sports, like this is their life. I
Right.
believe that they deserve to make some money off their life.
I totally agree. One of the first things I thought of was a guy, I don't know who's seen the memes. I know you have Sean Oakman.
Yeah,
He was
I've seen this.
you don't remember him? He played for Baylor. The big,
The guy with the face mask. Yeah.
I mean, that's just the relevance. The
Yeah.
guy was a beast in college. Now, in his it was his junior or senior year, he was going to be a first-round draft pick. His life, it was going to happen for him. His dream was going to come true. Never have to worry about a dime again in his life and be able to play the game he loves. He was falsely accused of sexual assault. Didn't happen until 3 years later when the person prosecuting him came out and said, you know what? It never happened. I made this up. At this point, this guy's career's ruined. I can't imagine that someone who puts that much time into football and is that highly touted as a prospect is going to put all this time into school. And I couldn't tell you where he is now. I would wish that at one point he could have made a little money being himself and doing everything he could to be the best football player, maybe signing with a brand like Nike and having the legal protection that Baylor probably didn't offer him when stuff started to go south.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I just think about, I have buddies who play college football, and I really think that there's no reason why you shouldn't, I'm not going to sit here and advocate for someone to be paid by a school. I don't know if that's really where I go with that. I think, for how much university is. A scholarship is a wonderful thing. And a lot of guys aren't even on scholarship. So they're still paying for their education. But I don't see why a guy like Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence should have to wait until they're done with their playing years to have an agent, to sign with big brands. It's already tough enough going into the NFL as a rookie or the NBA as a rookie. Why not get a head start?
I agree.
Young kids, you have time for people to advise you before you have that sense of security. Go and do it on your own. And a lot of people don't know how. So it's interesting.
Especially some of the players who decide to stay an extra year instead of going to the draft.
Of course.
They should have some like professional advice.
Dude, Sean Wade in Ohio State did that this year. His draft stock dropped tons. He just didn't play well. But you never know how different it is if he signed with the right guy telling him, you got to go to the draft. He could have gone and been a first-round pick last year, had a huge bonus, and never looked back.
Miami quarterback, like, I'm not sure what he did, but he injured himself in the bowl game, last game of the season.
Derek King, yeah.
Yeah, and now he's coming back. But, like, who knows? That injury,
it's interesting.
He might not come back the same.
It's just, I feel like
behind him.
I mean, we're the same age as true freshmen, kids playing right now, and only 2 years older than us when they're ready to go to the NFL. As a kid, I don't want to be told I can't make my own decisions, but also have no freedom to learn how to accept help from others to the point where I'm ready to make my own decisions when it's my turn. It shouldn't be all or nothing. And it's more than just money, it's guidance. But
think about all the money schools make based off the players.
Seriously.
And like
it's awful.
And it helps with recruiting too, like you have a stud quarterback, you're going to get stud receivers next year.
You're pocketing the budget money instead of redistributing it
to
help your communities. That's exactly what the hell it is. I want to talk about Russell Wilson.
What about him?
Where's he going to be next year? Where's he going to be?
Seattle.
Yeah.
I don't see him anywhere else after all he's done.
Speculation, but I don't see the guy ever leaving. It's his home,
They love Russ.
And I think Russ loves them. Russ doesn't love the fact that he's the most sacked quarterback the last 6 years, and the guy still puts up numbers better than, I'd say, 90% of the league.
Let Russ
Except for when Landry takes his left hand and chucks it in the end zone. Jarvis is Cleveland's backup quarterback, right?
Yes.
It's tough, though. And Derek Carr, too. I don't see that working out in Oakland, and I see a guy who has major potential.
Who? Mariota?
Derek Carr. No, Mariota's it is what it is. But I'm talking Derek Carr, man.
He had a rookie receiver in Henry Ruggs last year. Darren Waller's good. He's a stud. Josh Jacobs, bell cow back.
But what about the fact that John Gruden
team will be far
changes things up more than anything? And that guy's never settled. He doesn't have the patience to give Carr what he needs.
How many years was his contract? It was huge, right? Isn't he like the highest paid coach?
Yeah, Gruden's going into his third year of a $10 million, 10-year, $100 million contract.
Yeah, he has his time to figure out.
I couldn't tell you, man. It makes no sense to me. We can move on from that, though. Football season just ended, and we have more we can talk about. Let's see. What do I have here? Oh, MLB just released their top 100 list, and I know you had some thoughts and feelings. Tell me.
Yes, let me pull up this list just to confirm I'm not missing.
He's going to pull up the list, folks. Yes. You hear that? Pulling up the list. It's our first piece of tactical evidence used on the show. I said I'd try and add something new every week.
Well, obviously Mike Trout at number 1. I'm not surprised.
I mean, of course. Mookie's an easy 2. DeGrom's the best starting pitcher in baseball. Okay, let's move down the list to one that really hurt us at 95. Who's at 95, Max?
At 95, I'm not sure, but Stanton's at 97.
Oh, was it 97?
Yeah.
4 years removed from an MVP, and a guy who, when is healthy, is one of the best bats and power arms in baseball is 97. Okay.
Yes.
Beats me.
Who am I to
I only love this. I am not paid by anyone to talk about it publicly, though I'm open for all applications. So
I don't like.
Come at me.
Blake Snell at number 80. I don't like that.
I mean, the guy is proven. I mean, he's 2 years away from a Cy Young. He's dominant.
He's very good.
Left-hander throws 98 miles an hour with a knee-buckling curveball, a great slider change mix, and he's now proven that he's great in the playoffs.
Yu Darvish at 30 and Buehler at 40.
I know I'm a Dodger fan. I want to keep my mouth shut on this one. I really do. I really do. But I can't. I
You
love you,
understood.
Darvish. I love you, Darvish. I had resentment towards him until I realized that part of the reason he got booed out of LA was because we got cheated out of the World Series. The guy is a gamer. He has the cutter slider combo he has. It's unreal.
It's slow ass
But
curveball
we're
too.
going to take that guy over Walker Buehler? I don't
No.
think I have to advocate for him. It's scary. It's interesting. We can move on from that, though, because at the end of the day, I like talking about what other people do in the field. I don't like talking about what other people talk about other people doing on the field. So starting to catapult into different dimensions here. I'm not having it. I know we said we'd gravitate away from football, but Philip Rivers
I never
out.
said it
Carson
either.
Wentz is in. What do we think about that?
In Indianapolis for what was it? A second and third rounder.
A third, maybe another third, a conditional second round pick, which initially they said they wanted a Stafford-like return, which to the Lions was 2 first rounders, a second rounder, and a quarterback.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade 1 first rounder for Carson Wentz.
Jeez, well, who would?
Yeah.
You're basically saying, I remember when they came out and said that, and I thought to myself, okay, you benched this guy in your own power. You want to trade your backup quarterback for what the Lions just got rid of their franchise for? Okay. Good luck with that. Now you've got a second round pick. Stupid. It's tough. It's just like the Cardinals trade they made with the Rockies for an Arenado. The Rockies paid off $50 million of his contract and didn't even get a top 10 prospect from them in return. But we talked about that last week. So
Yes.
you dwell over the same things over and over
It's
again.
true that Indianapolis's offensive coordinator was Philadelphia's OC when Wentz won his MVP, right?
He won MVP?
Wentz was MVP, yeah.
There's no way Carson Wentz won MVP.
I mean, no, I swear.
Was it the year that he got injured?
He went to the Super Bowl.
Well, he didn't, though.
The Eagles won the Super Bowl, my guy.
They won the Super Bowl, but he was out week 13.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. I'm going to pull up his stats real quick. Another piece of tactical
Never mind.
evidence.
He never won MVP. It's my bad.
No, he didn't. He was having an MVP-like season.
MVP season, yeah.
I mean, this year was just abysmal for him. 3-8-1 record. A 16 to 15 touchdown to interception ratio. A 57% completion, which isn't terrible, but when you look at the passes he's throwing, it's just tough.
And the amount of money he's making.
It was 2017. He went 11-2 before he got injured. He had, oh my gosh, this is insane. The guy had a 78.5 QBR with a 102 passer rating.
Yeah, he balled out.
Oh my God, he had 33 touchdowns and only 7 picks, 3,200 yards through 13 games.
What could have been.
Came back the next year, had a good year too, but he's just been on a steady decline, and the guy just isn't. He's not it, or he wasn't it in Philadelphia, of course, because you bring in a guy like Jalen Hurts. Ball game, man. That's it. I want that guy all day, every day. Definitely.
I love Hurts. I love that.
Hurts is a great player.
Alabama didn't work out, and he left and did well at Oklahoma. Now he's going to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. You love to see it.
I love it. I remember a game that Oklahoma won. I can't remember. I remember they'd come back and beat Baylor in the Big 12 championship. Crazy game, amazing performance. This guy had it from minute one. And they're on their way to a bowl game, possibly even at the time they could have thought college football playoff. They're celebrating their Big 12 championship, and a one lone guy is in the the weight room, lifting. It's Jalen Hurts. It's never enough for him. And you can't teach that. You can't breed guys like that. You either have it or you don't. It is that Mamba mentality of, I come here to win, and I come here to do it with class. It's amazing. It's just it's unbelievable to me to see a guy with so much composure and poise to have already gone through so much on the field in his career, to have already fought the adversity, to come in and take their franchise guy's spot on a dime. It's beautiful.
It's impressive too.
Yeah, and I was thinking about it the other day, how the Dolphins passed up on Justin Herbert. 6'6", tall, right-handed for a guy who never really had to prove himself behind anything more than all American receivers and linemen, and Tua Tagovailoa, who I don't think is going to have much success in the NFL.
I don't know. They say that Tua has no weapons, but Fitzmagic did all right on that team. He put up better numbers than Tua did.
That's what scares me. Just they bring Justin Herbert into a team that's not nearly as good, and the guy performs. He performs.
I don't know. Not nearly as good. Chargers aren't bad. They just have a trash coach. So many of the games that
Not
they
anymore.
lost were.
Oh yeah.
So
2.5
many of
straight-
those games they lost were like what, a missed
Dude,
field goal or something like that.
2.5 years
Bad
was
clock
like,
management.
I swear it was a 40 straight games or something where they had lost like 27 of them, and I think 20 of them were decided by one possession.
Yeah.
And we saw it 2-3 years ago when they made the divisional against the Patriots. We saw that. Phillip Rivers was still their quarterback, and I mean, it was a very similar team. They have a great back in Austin Eckler. Keenan Allen, it's unreal.
He's
Solid O-line.
Phenomenal.
You know,
Derwin James didn't play last year. He's a big part of
he
their
opted out,
defense.
didn't he?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're going to be bringing that guy back. It's
I
interesting.
don't like that they traded the cornerback King to Tennessee for like practically nothing.
Well, that's how trades work in the NFL. NFL trades are hardly ever player for player two-sided. It's always, I'm going to give you this guy to get rid of his contract. You give me some draft capital, call it a day. I remember the year Jay Ajayi, the running back, who just like any other very good running back dies out in 3 or 4 years because you take enough hits to the head. That's what happens. He was traded to the Eagles from the Dolphins, or was it the other way around? No, he went to, where'd he go? It was one of the two. I mean, literally, it's that irrelevant at this point. It's far history.
Yeah.
The guy was having an all-pro season, and he was traded for a 5th-round pick. I remember I saw a meme where they tried to do the trade on Madden, and Madden wouldn't let them do it. What kind of shit is that?
Well, Madden's trash. So.
Right, we talked
But we
about it.
already
If they'd
talked
done it on
about that.
EA, they probably would have given the same exact response, of course. Sponsor us, please. I mentioned hits to the head, and we lost a very, very, very good football player list last week in Vincent Jackson. Played for the Chargers, the Buccaneers, 3-time Pro Bowl receiver. It was very sad. It was. He was 38 years old. They're donating his brain right now to see exactly what was going on, but it was that he took a lot of hits, and it was possible that he suffered from a lot of concussions and CTE, which led to alcoholism. And I don't think it was released, but a lot of the time secrecy is important when it has to do with suicide. It's my assumption. I don't want to be the one to place that down. I don't want to shed any tough light. I also have struggled with alcoholism in my life, and feeling a tough way, obviously terribly unrelated to that, but I have major sympathy for him and his family, and I'm hoping that he will be used as a figure to try and discontinue things like this from happening. It's just very sad. Sometimes I stammer on because I realize that less words mean more. And I think we could leave it at that there. I wanted to keep the show short, and I believe we're doing a good job. Let's see. It's got about 25 minutes. If we don't have to edit, we don't have to edit. I think doing our first episode was great because we had everything to talk about from the last 18 years of our lives. As for this week, we just covered what we had to say this week. And I'm really hoping that for the viewers, if you make it this far, you give us a little subscribe and a like on our videos. We work really hard at this, believe it or not. We are just dudes who love to talk, especially me. I mean, I do love to talk. What can I say? It's been the same way since I was a kid. But we really just, we like doing this, and we want to continue to want to put the work in to do this. So whatever you can do to help us out and get the word out, and hope that someone sees one of our two beautiful faces and falls in love. We're very happy to share the love. I'm happy to share the snacks too. I don't know about this guy. He might eat them all, but
nah, all for me.
Even though I look like I'm the one who would, but we really like this. We really do.
Yes.
Max, say a little something to our fans, baby.
No, really appreciate everyone who gives us a view and even drops a like. This is something that we just started. We're having fun with it. Gonna keep doing it until we stop having fun, or maybe we never will.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what it's all about.
We'll be in our 80s, man, rocking chairs and homes, just talking.
Yeah. Chatting shit.
talking about Tom Brady winning his 80th Super Bowl. Yeah, I ain't got anything else. Is there anything you'd like to send the fans off with? Anything you got planned this weekend? Tell us about it.
I'm coming home.
He's
LA,
coming
baby.
home. How long ago? When was the last time he came home?
A month ago.
A month ago? It's awesome.
Yeah, for a day.
And if someone watching were to be waiting on an acceptance from UCSB and you had one piece of advice for him, what would it be?
Take it.
Take it. I love it. It's a cool place. I'd love to come visit you. I was supposed to 2 weeks ago. It didn't work out.
Yeah, you'll be here soon. Don't worry.
Yeah. But that's awesome. And I'll definitely be seeing you then. We'll have to
Yes.
go live on Instagram and everyone go crazy because we're actually together in person.
Yes.
Do a celebrity cameo or something. I love it. Anything else?
That's all,
Okay.
folks.
That's all, folks. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. And we will be back next week for episode 3. Stay tuned for a title for when you click on the video because we did not come up with one.
Make sure
All right,
you
Max.
Subscribe.
And like.
Yes.
And feel free in the comments to tell us who you think is what should we give him? Something to comment. What do we think?
No. Your top 10 MLB. Screw MLB's list.
It's going to be a long ass comment. Just comment whatever the heck you want. We
Top
love you
5.
all. Take it easy. Top 5, top 3, top 2. Don't
Whatever
care.
you want.
The publicity is what we want. We'll sell out. We promise. All right. I'll see you on PlayStation then. See you, brother.